If you've been gardening long enough, you already know that fast growth usually comes with consequences. Weak stems, shallow roots, nutrient burn, or soil that looks worse at the end of the season than it did at the start. Real gardeners don't chase speed for its own sake. We chase momentum that doesn't collapse. That's exactly why fermented wood ash deserves serious attention. This isn't a gimmick, and it isn't a shortcut. It's a way of unlocking minerals that already exist, delivering them in a form soil biology accepts immediately, and doing it without wrecking long-term balance. If you've ever used raw ash and gotten mixed results, the fermentation step is what you were missing. Why raw wood ash causes problems before it ever helps. Wood ash has been used for centuries, but most failures come from misunderstanding its strength. Ash from clean hardwood contains potassium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and a wide range of trace minerals. On paper, that looks perfect. In practice, raw ash is highly alkaline and extremely reactive. When applied directly to soil, especially moist soil, it dissolves fast and spikes pH before microbes or roots can adapt. Fine root hairs burn first, beneficial fungi retreat, and nutrient uptake stalls even though minerals are technically present. This is why, one gardener might see explosive growth while another ends up with yellow leaves and stressed plants. Raw ash delivers minerals without any moderation at all, and honestly, soil just doesn't respond well to that. Fermentation, well, it solves this by slowing everything down and handing control back to biology. Instead of having minerals dump into the soil all at once, they're actually buffered, collated, and then released gradually through microbial activity. That difference alone, really, changes ash from a risky amendment into a predictable tool. So, trace minerals shift into ionic forms that enzymes and microbes can actually process, and, the pH stabilizes instead of swinging wildly. This basically mirrors what happens naturally in forest soils, where minerals are released slowly as organic matter decomposes. Fermentation, well, it just compresses that timeline. Instead of waiting months for rain, leaf litter, and microbes to do the work, you create a controlled environment where those processes happen in just a few days. The result is a liquid mineral tonic that feeds soil life first and plants second, and honestly, that order matters more than most fertilizers ever acknowledge. So, you might be wondering why plants respond so quickly once fermented ash is applied. Well, the fast response doesn't actually come from force, it comes from removing friction. That's really the key. When soil biology is healthy and minerals are available without stress, plants immediately improve water regulation, photosynthesis efficiency, and structural growth. For example, potassium regulates stomatal function, which in turn improves drought tolerance and flowering response. Calcium, for instance, strengthens cell walls, which translates to thicker stems, better disease resistance, and firmer fruit. And those trace minerals, they activate enzyme pathways that increase sugar production and nutrient transport. Pretty amazing, right? Because fermented ash feeds microbes rather than bypassing them, the underground exchange system wakes up almost immediately. Roots expand because, conditions feel safe. Mycorrhizal fungi resume nutrient trading. You see deeper green leaves, tighter internodal spacing, and just more confident growth overall, without that soft, watery look that usually comes from nitrogen-heavy inputs. How to make fermented wood ash mineral tea correctly every time. Start with clean ash from untreated hardwood only, no painted wood, no plywood, and definitely no charcoal briquettes. So, first, you'll want to sift the ash to remove any large charcoal pieces and debris. Fine ash is really what you're after here. Next, in a clean container, go ahead and add 1 cup of that sifted ash to 1 gallon of non-chlorinated water. Now, if you're using tap water, make sure to let it sit uncovered for about 24 hours first. Then, add 1 tablespoon of an unsulfured carbohydrate source, like molasses, raw sugar, or even some mashed ripe fruit. Just remember, this step is all about feeding the microbes, not the plants themselves. Give everything a good stir and cover the container loosely so any gases can escape. Place the container in a warm, shaded spot and remember to stir it once every day or two. So, fermentation usually takes about 7 to 14 days, depending on the temperature, you know. During this time, the liquid will darken just a bit, and the smell will change from something sharp and alkaline to a more earthy and mild aroma. If the mixture smells chemical or harsh, it's just not ready yet. Properly finished fermentation should really smell like wet soil, not like anything rotten. Now, here's how to apply your fermented wood ash without overdoing it. This isn't the kind of fertilizer you just dump on. Think of it as a mineral signal. For your garden beds and in-ground plants, dilute 1 cup of the finished fermented liquid into 1 gallon of water. Then, apply it to already moist soil, ideally in the morning or evening. This allows microbes to move immediately into the root zone. For container plants, use half a cup per gallon of water. Pots concentrate minerals faster and require restraint. Apply no more than once every 3 to 4 weeks. For compost, add 1 to 2 cups of fermented liquid per standard compost pile. This accelerates microbial activity, balances acidity, and improves nutrient availability in finished compost. So, the best timing is just before flowering and during early fruit set. That's when potassium and calcium demand increases naturally. Applying outside those windows is still beneficial, but honestly, results are most noticeable when plant demand and soil supply align. Mistakes that ruin results even with fermentation. Well, the most common mistake is excess. More does not mean faster. Over-application overwhelms microbial balance and, negates the buffering effect fermentation provides. Another mistake is rushing fermentation. If the process isn't complete, you're essentially applying diluted raw ash. Patience really does matter here. Poor ash sources can cause long-term contamination. Soil doesn't forget, you know. What you add just accumulates over time. Always prioritize clean inputs. And finally, applying to dry soil reduces effectiveness and increases stress. Biology needs moisture to function. Respect that, and your results will remain consistent season after season. So, why does this method actually work for the long haul and not just for some quick growth? Well, fermented wood ash, you know, it really improves soil structure, boosts microbial diversity, and helps mineral cycling over time. It actually strengthens your plants without making them dependent on constant inputs. Instead of just chasing after growth every single season, you're building a system that honestly supports itself. That right there is the real difference between gardening that simply survives and gardening that truly improves. If this approach helped you rethink how you use what's already around you, go ahead and subscribe to Earthly Delights for more practical biology-first gardening methods. And hey, share this with a fellow gardener who's maybe a bit tired of burning soil for just short-term gains. Strong gardens aren't built fast, they're built right.